Hi everyone, welcome back to Solway Mushrooms. Welcome to the second video on the agar series. Today I'm going to tell you how to pour agar. So you will need your sterile media plate, some sterile agar, and a still air box or a flow hood. First off, the most important thing about cultivating mushrooms is your sterile tech. So I'm going to turn the flow hood on, going to get gloves and mask on, and I'm going to clean the area thoroughly with bleach or ISO and a rag. Absolutely everything that we're going to put in front of the flow hood or inside our still air box, if you're working in a still air box, has got to be cleaned down. This will help to reduce any contamination that we might be bringing in on any pieces of equipment, any spore syringes, any agar plates that have been sat out, anything at all, any grain bags, everything needs to get cleaned. Even though these agar plates have been sterilised in my pressure canner, I still need to clean them because I've walked about the house with them. Anything could have landed on them in the process. So these are purpose-built, sterile, reusable PP5 plastic plates, and they're also ones that I've upcycled from work as well as a byproduct of what I do. In terms of choosing a media plate, you can get glass ones that you can clean and re-sterilise. You can get the PP5 ones that I've got. If you're using anything that's plastic, it needs to be PP5 to survive the heat from the pressure canning process or the pressure cooking process. If you've bought pre-prepared agar from somewhere else in a media bottle such as this, then you're going to need to heat it up to make it into a fluid again in order to pour it. This can be done in the microwave. All you need to do is crack the lid and then heat it up for a minute and check it, and then heat it up for 30 seconds or so and keep checking it that way. We don't want to be pouring our agar too hot because we'll get a lot of condensation. I suffered a lot of condensation on my agar plates because I do it upstairs in an unheated room, so any temperature differences are markedly noticeable. In order to check the temperature, I have purchased a laser thermometer. They're relatively cheap, you can get them on Amazon, and they're pretty accurate as well, so that's what I use. If you are going to use a laser thermometer, you can see me pointing at a little bit of tape rather than the shiny bottle, and this helps give a more accurate reading. The magic number for pouring our plates we're looking at is 50 degrees centigrade or 123 degrees Fahrenheit. This could take a while to cool down, so let's cut to now. Right, okay, so as we said, 50 degrees centigrade or 123 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what we want. Anything hotter than this will be just too hot to pour, and anything lower than this, the mixture will start to set inside the bottle and you'll get lumps. Spoiler alert, you will see some lumps today when I'm pouring my plates. If you're buying your media plates, they'll come in packaging very similar to this, but this is a fruiting bag that I have put over some plates and then sterilised them in my pressure canner. This is a great way of doing it. If you want to buy your own plates, it'll be a lot cheaper in the long run. It's a lot more environmentally friendly because they are reusable as well. And like I said, if you get anything that's PP5 plastic and suitable for pouring agar in, suitable for holding some liquids, then you can use that as well and it will survive the heat of the canner. So let's start pouring some agar. So you're going to crack your lid open, you're going to grab your agar plates and work from the bottom up. You're going to grab the lid of the bottom one, lift it up and pour in enough agar to cover the bottom and then put it down. Sorry for being left-handed at this point, you hopefully can see what I'm doing, but there's a big bottle and hand in the way. And we're just going to repeat this process. So you're going to grab the lid of the plate that you're going to want to pour and you're going to lift the whole stack up, including that lid, and you're going to pour just enough to cover the bottom of the plates. If you want to pour deep plates, then you can. It's just a bit of a waste, to be honest. You know, you can pour more agar plates like this. This is 250 mils. It's the same recipe as I used on the how to make agar video. And as you can see, 250 mil of agar will go a long way in pouring plates. So for these improvised plates that I'm going to grab now, their lid's a bit tighter, so I can't really do that technique. So I'm going to have to pour every plate individually. I'm also going to leave them open in front of the flow hood. If you've got a still air box, you're doing this inside a still air box, I wouldn't recommend leaving them open. The reason I'm leaving them open is to try and minimise any condensation. So I'm just leaving the lid cracked so the flow hood can kind of equalise the temperature, kind of cool it down a little bit inside the plate. Condensation isn't a killer in agar. It's absolutely fine. What I would do though is I'd just stack your plates once they've set. I'd stack them upside down. This will ensure that the condensation stays on the lid and it doesn't make your agar mixture too wet, or if you've got something colonising on top, it's not going to flood that and possibly kill off any mycelium or anything like that. The main problem I find with moisture on your lids is you can't really get a good look at what's growing inside those plates. So if you've got some beautiful mycelium that's clean, you can't really appreciate it. One way you can is by shining a light underneath it, and that usually cuts through the condensation a bit. I've also experimented in the past by leaving plates on top of a warm kettle after it's boiled, like a good time after, just to kind of heat the plates up. But if you do the stack method that I did on the first plates, you'll find that they cool down a lot less. It takes a lot longer for them to cool down. Therefore, it minimises condensation. You'll find the top plate might get a bit more condensation, but the middles will largely be uncondensated. So once I've done that, once I've poured all my plates, I'm going to start wrapping them. You can see I've put the packaging over the top of the first lot of agar plates just to provide a little bit more protection. And if you're doing that inside a steel air box, that's how I'd definitely do it as well. So they should be set. I'm just checking them now. Looking okay. I'm a bit faffy, haven't I, when I'm working in front of the flow hood. There's a lot of moving, but you can see that. That's lovely, that's awesome. Happy with that. It's a good colour as well. First time I've used colour. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Some good results. So I'm just snapping them lids down and I'm going to stack them. And what I'm going to use to seal my plates is some plant grafting tape. So it's pretty much like cling film, but very narrow. And the beauty about that is you literally get kilometres for the price that you would buy some parafilm for. Parafilm's kind of like the standard go-to things for wrapping your plates, but I've not had a problem with grafting tape. It's done me absolutely fine. And it's cheap, you know. I want to make this hobby accessible for all. So this is the grafting tape. I'm just going to clean it with some alcohol and give it a rub just before we use it. There's no point in putting something dirty on the inside of it. It's been sat out in the air, and as you can see, it's just stretchy cling film type stuff that you would use for doing some grafting in your garden when you're trying to graft a fruit tree to another root ball or something like that. So I'll get my hands clean and I'm going to start wrapping these plates. So we're going to grab a plate and we're going to get the tail of the grafting tape and we're just going to anchor that down with our finger and we're going to stretch it and pull it as we're stretching it, or stretch it as we're pulling it even, all the way around the plate. I do it 2 or 3 times. As I said, you get kilometres of this stuff for really cheap. Give it a snap at the end and put the end down back onto itself and it'll kind of stick to itself. And we're just going to repeat that for every single plate. You could use these plates straight away, so you might not want to wrap them. But as soon as you put something on this plate, you're going to want to wrap it. So if you were organised enough, you could use these plates once a set to test a liquid culture syringe that you'd bought. You could use them to germinate some spores that you've either bought or found or foraged. And you could use them to clone as well. So I'm just writing on what kind of agar it is at the moment, because this is a blank slate. I've just put LME for light malt extract. And then I'm going to keep these somewhere cool and out of direct sunlight. And when I come to use them, they'll be good to go. Your plates will last a few months, so you've got loads of time to use them. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did find it useful and informative, give me a like and a subscribe. It really helps me to keep motivated to doing these videos, and thank you for allowing me to share my passion. Until next time.